Welcome everyone to another Raid Shadow Legends video. I'm DM recording from Down Under. For this video, I thought I would talk about tournaments, especially during a fusion and the cost of winning them, why we do it, that kind of thing. Now, I'm not too sure how this video is going to play out. It's a bit of a ad lib on the spot kind of job for it, but I did want to talk about my experience. Now, I do apologize. The tournament that I was heavily involved in, I finished a couple of days ago, but it's been a bit busy, so I haven't had a chance to get around to it. Now, the one I'm going to be talking about in particular is this champion training tournament right here. Now, I spent a lot of time trying to get to first place, and I think it made me question what it was about first place that I really wanted. Was it worth it? And those kind of things. So firstly, winning a tournament, what can it do? Now, you will normally get some kind of reward. In this case, we are getting artifacts, which will be the Relentless set normally. That's the only way that you can get them. So it's valuable in that sense that this gear is hard to get and it's quite a strong set, giving you an extra turn or a chance of an extra turn after taking one. During a tournament, during a fusion, you also get a chance to get bonus fragments. Now, in this current fusion, you can earn 110 fragments where you only need to get 100. So there's more than enough that you don't need to do any of these kind of tournaments. By winning one, for this example, I have the potential to earn 120 fragments. Now, when we have a look at something like a summon rush, after we've done, the Leo's hero path, many things like that, shard resources are quite low at this point for everyone. And we are going up to the Christmas fusions, which is traditionally a double event, has often a Titan event where you get a second hero. So they're quite intensive on resources. So for me, the best reason, maybe not my number one reason for why I did it, but the best reason for doing it was to get these extra fragments. So as a result, I could skip the 15 required fragments from getting, you get from Summon Rush, and that allows me to save up some of my shards for later events. Now, in hindsight, when I was going through this tournament, I shot up to first quite quickly. Like, I used just my books to get up there, and I was in first. And I stayed in first for ages, and then it became a bit of a neck-and-neck battle with this person here, Elise Panamera. Now, I only needed 5 fragments to be able to skip it, and as you can see, we're well ahead of third place. I feel like stubbornness was the number one kind of reason that I pushed so hard. The best reason was to get the fragments, but in hindsight, I feel like I was a bit stubborn in terms of getting, the win. I put in a bit of time. I wanted to win based on the fact that I'd put in so many resources. Now, the cost of winning will be variable for accounts, and it also comes down to the RNG of who's in your group. In this case, 2 of us were going for the fragments. This person was originally up there for a little bit. I don't know if they were trying or if it just was by accident that they ended up there for a while. But the RNG of who's in your group will quickly determine, whether it's worth it. And you'll see a lot of content creators showing off videos more around champion chase, for example, where there might be a hero available, like Shredder was available for a win for champion chase. Some people have a large amount of shards that are available and they can snipe at the very end. Now, the reality is I actually did a very similar thing. We were neck and neck. I was probably within 2,000 points behind Elise for most of this, the last few days. And I just kept pace with them, knowing that I had a lot of XP brews. I didn't really I blew all my tomes at the very start, so they were long gone for it. So upgrading skills for a legendary, it's like 500 points per legendary skill tome. I've earned 2 more since then from Clan Boss. So these tomes are a very quick way of getting those points for it. If you want to snipe someone, saving your tomes is the best way to do it. The other option is with these XP brews. Now, as you can see, I still sit at around about 1,000 for most of them. Before that, it was probably like 1,400 for each of them, roughly, give or take. I had one XP barrel as well. And I've got a bunch of chickens here, but mostly my my food champions were filling up everything. So if I have a look at my vaults, I was full at 840 before starting it. Probably was full there as well, and full over here. So overall, I've, fed probably 200-ish champions, but that also involves ranking them up, feeding them to someone else, that kind of thing. So that it's more than just what you see as basic numbers. There's a lot more to it. So for example, one of the tricks you can use is, let's just take a 4-star epic. You'll see I've got a whole bunch here at 21. This is my optimal amount. So if I take Hexia, I'm not going to do it right now, but Hexia here is Force. We do 4 potions and we get 21 levels for 4 potions, which is a decent chunk of points. When you apply that to multiple champions, you can quickly build up. I think it worked out to be about 60 points for each time I did this. When you then feed your duplicate ones to another champion, then you get the rank up points as well for doing so. And you keep rinsing and repeating that kind of process. On top of that, you can run campaign battles or dungeon battles. So you can combine it with, for example, I was doing the dragon tournament. I think I'm actually somewhat around the leaderboards. I kind of fell off because I wasn't that interested. Let's have a look here. Of course, waiting as always. Yeah, I've dropped down a little bit for it. But if you have a look at Dragon, for example, running a stage 20 battle, I can take 4 lots of food champions in there with me, and I'll level them up whilst doing the tournament. So you can do gear hunters, you can do champion training, you can do a dungeon tournament, all at the same time for the cost of, just your normal energy. And I think that's the key thing there, is start off with multi-use out of your resources. Get the best bang for buck for it. You don't need to win a tournament. You don't need to spend any actual money for it, but you do need to have a fair bit of resources stacked up. And you got to pick when your time is. This current fusion is one of the ones that is less desirable based on the, the surveys and that going out. A lot of people saying they're skipping it. That means that the pool of people going for it can be quite smaller. Now, on the flip side, we might have an event coming up for Black Friday for 2x mythicals from Primal Shards. So for people that aren't going for the fusion, they may still go for certain events. So you need to factor that in there for it. The reality was, though, with this tournament, I spent the entire tournament following this single tournament to make sure I was in the running, and I had to stay up. In Australian time, it finished at midnight, which when you have family and kids and work and all that kind of stuff, sometimes staying up to midnight can be quite a task just to win a tournament. They also, and this is the thing that you also have to be aware of, they had maintenance within the last hour of the tournament. Now, I know Elise was still going up in points after the maintenance, so they were obviously logged back in and kept going with it. But you do need to be careful that you may not see the updates in points because the tournament may not refresh quick enough. It may have maintenance that locks you out of getting into the tournament. And there's just a lot of extra factors for it. You need to be quite safe. And that's why I'm 4,000 points over, because in those last 10 minutes, I blew a whole bunch of resources to make sure that I was well ahead. I think they may have also gone up an extra 1,000 or 2,000 in that period as well. So you need to be very careful of that. But yeah, I just wanted to share my experience. It's not often that I go for a tournament win, and that's where I think that stubbornness really came into it. But yeah, the key things that I took out of this was why we do it, for the rewards. The rewards for getting in first place can be quite good. Then the lower rewards, depending on the tournament, it can vary as to, you may actually want to end up in 7th place instead of 4th, depending on what the rewards are. So the rewards are the number one thing to factor in. Secondly, you need to factor in your group and how much effort it's going to take versus if you want to spend money. Because for those whales out there that spend a lot of money, they can instantly win any of these tournaments just by throwing their credit card at it. So take that into consideration, and just the amount of time, if you're not throwing money at it, the amount of time and the fact that you have to follow at certain times to know exactly when things are ending and things like that. But that was my experience with it. I hope this has just been an interesting listen. I don't know if it's too insightful or not for it, but please leave a comment below. Just let me know what you think of this little bit of a rant. And yeah, I'll look out for those messages. Thanks.